Ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk about this Sir Alex Murdaugh and his best friend of 20 years taking the stand. This is going to be some interesting stuff because throughout, you can tell he doesn't want to answer these questions, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Grab your popcorn, everything you need. I got my chocolate milk right here. Let's get straight into this thing.
You went through the main entrance, and that's the entrance with the, I guess, the brick facade or whatever, the brick gates opening up. That's the main entrance you went in?
Yes, there's a brick facade and then I think they're metal iron gates, but they were open.
So again, this is his friend and law partner, and this is him kind of like telling his situation, what he saw when he got there. I believe this is after the police left, but there was still crazy stuff everywhere. You know what I mean? So let's check it out.
And then if you go up and you would have gone straight to the house if you'd gone straight, but you turned right, and you said, and there's a little roadway there, an old runway, and you were able to get back up to where the kennels were from that direction, correct?
That's correct. It's not far when you turn right. A couple hundred yards maybe.
And then, but you said.
And if you recall, they're saying how you get to the kennels. The house is going this way, and the house is kind of far, but the kennels are first. And if you turn right, like he said, they're like right here. I'm going to show it. But so he's just describing how he got there.
You were able to see shell casings, what you thought would be 223. Where were they?
The one, I don't think I saw every one that was there. I remember seeing one, seems like in the driveway.
And it's really good to note how he's behaving right now. He looks like he's still in shock, like he's really reliving it. So it honestly feels like he's not holding anything back. He's really trying to think as detailed as he can so that his answers are clear. This is a good contrast between him and Alex Murdaugh himself because, like I said, there's a stark difference.
Closer to the road from Paul and Maggie's bodies.
So were you able to get inside the crime scene tape?
I don't know if there was crime scene tape up at that point in time.
Okay. So you were able, as you recall, just walk up. Were Maggie and Paul's bodies covered at the time you got there?
He's taking so long to answer. It's kind of annoying.
Yes.
Like, damn, okay, yes.
But you were able to get into the crime scene close enough where you could tell what you thought the caliber of the shell case.
Right, and I didn't walk from where I was parked there. I walked completely around the hangar and went over to talk to people I knew that the fire and rescue people, just to get what their assessment was. And I could see from where they were positioned, I didn't get over it, but I could see from a distance, and I'm very familiar with
Sure.
firearms, and I saw what I thought was a 223 casing.
Okay. And you started to assist any way you could with trying to find out who could have done this. Isn't that right?
Honestly, they're probably just clarifying. I think the rounds are similar in size, so
Well, Jim, I didn't that night. I was trying to get, and we were starting to. I don't know. It was shot, man. But out in the days following, we had a lot of conversation amongst my partners and I about who could have done this, and obviously we were theorizing on stuff, and with very little information, obviously, but we were trying to find out things whether
When he says we were theorizing stuff, I wonder if not Paul. I wonder if Alex Murdaugh was amongst those theorizing theories. You know what I mean? That certainly would have popped up in my head. Like, you already know he's shady with his business. You already know that him and Maggie probably aren't getting along in the house. They probably, have more personal conversation about what's happening behind the scene. I mean, Alex would be in my top 5. That's all I'm saying.
Paul had been in an argument with anyone, or if anybody had.
Ask him, please.
I don't know. It's just what you would naturally do is ask questions.
One of the things, you went down to Jimmy Butler's. You remember that?
I did.
Now, what's Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy Butler's a business in Varnville that does mechanic work. He sells trailers. He sells portable buildings. Used to sell cars.
Portable buildings, damn.
I had learned that Paul had taken his truck there the Friday before the murders.
Right. And so the Friday before the murders, Paul's truck, and what was his normal truck? Was it F?
It was a F-150.
A white F-150.
White F-150.
And you had understood that his white F-150 was put in the shop at Jimmy Butler.
Yes, and I specifically was going to see if Paul's guns were in his truck.
Right. And did you check the truck?
I did. I looked inside of it, and I also got. I had learned that Mr. Rowe was working for Ellick at the time, and had taken him over to pick him up when he took his truck to drop off for repairs. And I asked Mr. Butler to pull surveillance tape so I could see if Paul got his guns out of his truck while he was getting out of one vehicle into another.
Oh, he was out here playing detective. And I know him doing all this. Alex was like, hey, you don't really got to do that, bro. It's let's just grieve, brother. Let's just grieve. You don't have to look for anything, He was definitely on that type of time. But I feel like his friend group even kind of suspected him.
And because it was Paul's habit to carry the guns in his truck,
yeah.
Right?
Right, and I believe actually when I looked in there was still a pistol and some shotgun shells, that type of stuff in there. But I didn't see any long guns. I didn't get inside of his truck and rummage around. I just looked.
And so you didn't observe any 300 blackout or any shotgun in Paul's truck at Jimmy Butler. Is that right?
I did not.
And then I think you also looked at videotape to see if Paul took guns out of his truck when
he didn't,
he got back
right?
in. I guess Mr. Rowe picked him up. Is that right?
That's correct.
Alex already, Alex, whatever the fuck his name is, he already had the guns, or at the very least, Paul definitely did not have that 300 blackout on him at that day.
Another one of another pickup that Ellick had on the farm.
And you didn't see Paul removing any guns from his truck when he got in the truck with Mr. Rowe?
That was not evident on the video.
Okay.
And I could see him getting out of one vehicle into the other.
And you were...
I see his eyes drifting around. I wonder if he's glancing over at Alex like, damn, bro, I'm sorry, but, you're kind of a murderer, dog.
You were down there on the morning of the 8th.
You're kind of a unaliver, bro. I swear I'll never use that word on this channel ever. If you hear me say unaliver, unsubscribe because that shit is played out. Please no, not here.
And after SLED had released the crime scene, and when I say there, I'm talking about down at the kennels. Were you not?
Yes, I was asked to go there by Randy's brother, Ellick.
And I don't want to.
Damn. Okay, so it's cleanup time. So I'm assuming the police got all their evidence. The police aren't just gonna clean everything for you. So they asked the best friend, Alex's brother, best friend, please come over, help us out. What are you gonna say? No, I wouldn't.
At all, but just
So
we were just
you just gotta get scarred together, man. Like shit, that's the homie. Like you know what I mean? That sucks, but
still blood and biological material there at the scene.
Yes.
Okay.
took him a
And
minute.
did you notice that there were some?
Stop shaking your head. Why are you shaking your head, bro? What's the point of that? Why would see the actions from this guy just don't really make yeah, I did that. Like I don't get it. Why are you shaking your head? Yes.
Birdshot pellets in the feed room that had not been collected by the sled agent?
Just start fake crying, bro.
Yes. They were what appeared to me to be you know, we could pretty much tell what they were, yeah, from looking up. And I believe they would have been a TSS type load.
Okay. And did you gather those up, to your knowledge?
Look at his face when they
Did
asked
I?
if he gathered the pieces up. He almost like, hold on, back that up. His face almost went repulsed. Like, fuck no, I didn't.
Type load.
Okay. And did you gather those up, to your knowledge?
You see that split second?
Did I?
You or anybody, with you?
Jim, Mr. Griffin, I apologize.
Call me-
We know each other, so.
Like, Jim, I ain't gonna bullshit with you, bro.
It's,
I ain't gonna bullshit with you, Jim. That shit was not, that question was out of pocket, first of all. And second of all, no, we did not pick it up. That's what I would have told him.
that area in that room, well, we could see them. It was so bad. We thought we were going to, at some point, clean it up, but it overwhelmed
Yeah.
both my partner, Mark, and I. Well, we could see that, and we could see everything, all the other aftermath. We were getting biological material. It just couldn't be there. It was bad, and it was overwhelming us. So, no, I did not try to collect evidence.
Yeah, it's not your job.
And the scene inside that feed room, I take it as something that still is etched in your mind's eye memory.
Yes.
I'd say so. Yes. Here we go. The head shaking.
When you were down there,
This man has several tics that he just relies on when he's nervous or trying to show some sort of an emotion. I don't even know what emotion this is.
when you got there the first time, I believe you went up to Mark Ball, and he was there. He got there before you.
Maybe a few minutes.
Were you
We had already
wiping,
talked
dog?
About,
Where,
that.
did it look to you and Mark like the crime scene was being preserved and carefully keeping people off of areas that maybe they shouldn't be trampling on?
Well, it was my understanding that the crime scene had been released, so that.
Well, I'm talking about 11
Hell
o'clock.
no.
I'm sorry, I jumped back. 11 o'clock when you got there, around 11 on the night of the 7th. When you pulled up, as I understand, you walked around the shed, the workshop, and went to the back, and maybe Mr. Ball was back there. I could have that wrong, but is that what happened?
Well, we were there. I saw people working through the crime scene, and you're kind of asking me for an opinion that I don't feel qualified to give, because I assumed that whatever was going on.
That's a good answer.
Being done with whatever procedures.
That is a lawyer's answer right there, y'all. See, that's as a civilian, you're just give an opinion straight up. But he was like, "Well, sir, that is an opinion of mine, and I am not in that profession. Therefore, my opinion would not be valid." Like, he's going down, like, "Yeah, bro, that question I can't really be answered. You need to ask a professional in his field." That's a lawyer's answer right there.
But there were people in that, in the crime scene doing various things.
Okay. And I'm not asking you to give an opinion. I was just asking you if anyone expressed an opinion in your presence.
Man, he's a smart man.
They shouldn't be doing this.
Yo, take note. This guy, he's like giving his testimony and everything, but he's not going to say no crazy shit either. You know what I mean? Like, he's up here all the way, 100%.
Doing that.
I don't specifically recall.
Okay. Well, did at some point in time, you and Mark and whoever else, were y'all directed to go to the main residence at?
We were, and for the life of me, I can't tell you who told us to go. I can tell you it was at the time that whoever is the photographer for the crime scene, they were getting ready to start, taking photographs, and it was stated that we're going to photograph the scene. Y'all go to the house.
Y'all get out of here.
We don't, you don't need to be in these photographs.
Family and friends. Scat.
And so who all went to the house? Best you can remember.
Him, Mark,
I'm gonna.
Alex.
I know I did. I know Mark did. Austin Crosby, who's one of my partners, did. Danny Henderson did. Randy Murdaugh did.
Randy. Who the fuck is Randy?
John Marvin did. Alec at some point did.
Yeah, there he is.
And he may have been, I believe he was accompanied by some officers when he came.
On his ass from the start. Accompanied by officers on his ass from the start. From the very start.
I think maybe
Get the fuck out of here, ugly.
Chris Wilson.
He kind of looks like Frankenstein's monster. Think about it. If you put some grayish blue on his shit, put some screws up here, it's Frankenstein's monster right there. No wonder he killed his family, y'all. Come on.
Have the others I'm
God
positive.
damn it. We let his monster free.
People,
And had it looked to you like anybody from law enforcement had searched the residence, inspected the residence before you guys went in?
Let me just finish this.
I don't know that I would know what it would look like if it had been searched. It was my perception that it had not been searched yet.
And then you mentioned at some point in time, Alec came up, and maybe law enforcement were with him?
Mr. Griffin, my memory is that Alec came in, and at or about the same time, two agents came, and I remember them collecting his clothes is what stands out.
The sled homies, they're coming through. They're sledding down on his ass. They're sliding, pulling up on him.
Maybe one stood
Get out of
in the
here, bro.
doorway or the foyer to the house. We were kind of in the living room and maybe the kitchen area, and then another agent, and I'm assuming it was sled, but it's kind of blurry.
Sliding up on his ass.
Quickly went maybe to the door of a bedroom while Elliot was changing clothes, and then he brought his clothes out and
Watching him like, hey, take them boxers off too. Need that shit. You know?
gave them to the agent who stood in the edge of the living room or foyer or whatever.
Give me
you
that
call
shit,
it.
boy. Evidence.
And did the agent just open up a bag and Alec dumped his clothes in the bag? Is that how you remember it? A paper bag?
I do not know what the composition of the bag was. It was a bag, and it seemed to me the agent was holding the bag out, like, open,
Right.
and that Alec kind of had his clothes in his fingers and just dropped them in, is what my memory was.
Okay.
What that was, I only recall there being one bag, and he dropped them in, and it was like a pretty quick transaction.
His clothes were not put on a hanger for sure. Is that right?
No, Alec had them in his hands when he came out of the bedroom. He was in there long
Alec
enough to take those off,
Murdaugh.
and I think he put back on another pair of shorts.
Hey, for my next video, I might put him as Frankenstein's monster for real, y'all. Like, I can't unsee it now. And he's a taller kind of guy, bro.
Or something in a shirt.
Killed his family. Blasted them. And traumatized his friends. Figure it out, buddy.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm jumping around a little bit.
It's okay. I've been right where you are, and that happens.
I think you mentioned in one of your interviews with SLED that Alec had some annoying quirks, and one of them he would just take phone calls in the middle of deposition.
He would.
Would he get phone calls from his family, Buster, Maggie, and Paul, and drop everything and take the calls?
I've witnessed that.
Okay.
Is that frequent?
Yes, he would do it in depositions. He would do it in the middle of a conversation, and not with them, but definitely with them. And even in partner meetings and stuff, he would take a call and walk out of the room.
Sure.
Sure.
You had mentioned in your testimony that when you were asked by Ms. Seconder about the Ferris fee issue, that really your concern was not that Alec was diverting fees, but he was trying to shelter fees from being disclosed in the civil case. Is that an accurate statement?
Oh.
Well, let's make sure definitionally we're talking about the same thing. My concern was not.
Here comes the lawyer. And the lawyer popping up out of him to save his own ass, make sure everything, all the T's are crossed, everything that goes down in the history book is right on his end. You know what I mean?
That he was stealing, because I trusted him. I had no reason to believe that he was stealing. It was the latter, that what she conveyed to me was he was wanting to hide some fees or hide money somehow. I don't remember it being said that it was like I heard earlier in Maggie's name. It was just that he was going to take the fees from Chris Wilson's account so there wouldn't be any record, is the way I understood it, in our trust account.
Right. And you said, F no, we're not doing that.
Those were my words.
I said, fuck no, I'm not doing that. Okay, so there was probably a little bit of tension between the homies, you know, a little bit of headbutting. Like, bro, stop doing that shit, bro. We have a successful business. Chill the fuck out. We don't want the feds up in here, you know. Alex just couldn't figure it out.
What was Alex, scratch that, after
Figure it out, bro. Figure it
the
out.
murders of Maggie and Paul, did you, the immediate aftermath and going forward a few months, did Alec come to the office much?
It was sporadic, but you know, I knew that he was having a lot of trouble sleeping. And you know, just lost his family and his father, and him and his father were very close. We were aware that, or had understanding that he was taking like medicine to try to help him sleep, and maybe for anxiety, and just you know, the normal things that you would expect there. So even when he came, I would walk in his office and he'd be falling asleep in his chair. He'd be sitting in there, you know, which was evident to me that he wasn't sleeping well. And so I know the second you mentioned pills earlier that he was taking. That's what we knew he was taking, because he couldn't sleep at night. He'd be up at all hours of the night.
And did you notice changes in his physical appearance? Losing weight?
He gets skinnier?
Yes, he was losing weight. I don't think he was eating very well by all reports.
Well, I mean, shot Maggie. I don't know if she was feeding him that much, but I think the housekeeper stopped coming around too. So it was all bad for your boy Murdaugh, bro. It was all bad.
And
Should have chilled.
and I guess let's sort of go back. The night of June 7th, the morning of June 8th was, I mean, what was his demeanor?
Well, his demeanor is that he was upset. I could tell that, and he, you know.
Did you see him cry?
Yeah, we cried together. I mean, he kept telling me, especially to me, he kept telling me how much Paul loved me, and you know, every time he would say that, it would be emotional. I mean, and then he.
I wonder if Alex actually cried with him. Because, see, the police, they don't know your actual emotions, but your best friends, they do. So maybe he did get emotional when his friends, you know, started getting emotional too. It was like, you know, that can kind of like rub off on you. So it probably was more of a sincere cry between the two of them. But, gosh, he could not get it going in those interviews. I'll tell you that much.
You know, he told me that several times over the next few days. It was just almost be how he would start a conversation with me would be to talk about Paul.
Stop shaking your head. It's annoying.
And then, did he spend a lot of time with Buster down at Maggie's parents in Somerville, to your knowledge?
I knew they were. Can you give me the time frame?
So starting in June?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I know he and Maggie's parents had a good relationship, and I recall because
Yo, I'm just looking at everything. His suit is so fitted, bro. Like, from wrist to jacket length. My boy is fitted out here, man. He's got a tailor. Shout out to Taylor.
Some of this, I remember seeing some texts between he and I that he was down there. I don't remember. Well, they're dated. I'm sure you have them. And he told me he was down with Maggie's parents. It was one of the days.
Got that bald head right there.
Following the murders.
It's right there looking
Then,
at us.
At one point in time around,
He's wiping away his skin. Yeah, he's like, oh, it's itchy. I got to scratch that real quick.
I don't know if it's 4th of July, did he come to your place by boat, or do you remember that? And
It would. Can't say that it was on the 4th of July, but I remember his brother Randy and his wife. I had invited them to my house, you know, for the 4th, and you know, for to spend, and they had, you know, something that those of us in the law firm do a lot, that spend time on the weekends together, and they were there, and I'd asked Alec to come over, and he and Buster came by boat from Edista.
and Alec was carrying a gun with him on the boat, was he not?
Yes, he had a gun in what I want to call a shopping bag, like a cloth type, you know, shopping bag, not one of those plastic ones.
I Had you ever seen Alec carrying a gun around before for protection before the murders?
No.
Why would he put it in a shopping bag? It's almost like show and tell. He's like, look, I'm protecting myself, guys. Look, in case somebody tries to run up on me like they ran up on my family. Look, you know, put it on your waistband, buddy. That's what I would like. Come on.
Some point in time, Alec and Buster and the family put out a reward, did they not, for capture of tips for whoever would lead to the arrest of whoever killed Maggie and Paul. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, and who all was involved in the funding of it, I don't know, but there was a reward, I believe I know a reward was put out.
And the firm agreed to administer it if there was anyone step forward.
We did.
I wonder if Buster had something to do with it. We do need to jump into the Buster Murdaugh interview just to hear his voice, see how his demeanor is, all of that good stuff. But the way he supports his pops, bro, like, I don't know. I don't know if he's like a ride or die type of son or if he just didn't like them either. That's kind of sick to think about that he's in on it. But, like, how are you that ride or die and your pops just killed your mom? So, you know, interesting situation right there. We're going to check that out. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a good little testimony to break down. Now we're going to move over to Buster soon, listen to his testimony. But until then, y'all, stay safe. You know, check on your family members. Until then, I'll see you later.